At the Sydney Cricket Ground, Australia and the West Indies met in the second test for what fans dubbed the World Championship. Thrills soon woke this pair up when Lindsay Hassett sent the visitors in. Our bumping pace attack was shared by Ray Lindwall and the unpredictable all-rounder Keith Miller. Worrell scored a brilliant 64 and the visitors totaled 362. Australia was spun into trouble by the two 20-year-olds, Alf Valentine and Sonny Ramadan, until Miller and Hassett turned the tide with a record fourth wicket partnership of 235. Nugget Miller, as he was known, a magnetic personality. He played in 55 tests and proved to be one of the greatest crowd pleasers cricket lovers had ever seen. This is Jack Iverson, who earlier that year closed a brief but spectacular career. No bowler ever spun him more viciously than this popular Victorian. In his only 5 test appearances against England in the 1950-51 series, he took 21 wickets at a cost of 15 runs apiece to head the Australian averages. Sydney University's Professor Frank Cotton, world famous for his research into the physiology of exercise, was a familiar figure at all types of sporting events, with his stethoscope and stopwatch, and an array of personally designed ergometrical machines measuring the work output of athletes. He laid the foundation of the modern scientific approach to sport in Australia. Manly-trained Big Jim Ferrier, back from America for exhibitions, showed his driving power at the clinic at Concord, assisted by up-and-coming young professional Peter Thompson and Australian amateur champion Peter Hurd. Hurd thrilled the fans with his chipping. Thompson, on his way to join Walter Hagen and Bobby Locke as the only 4 times winners of the British Open, called in at his hometown Melbourne in time to shoot a 283 at the Metropolitan Course and collect from Sir Dallas Brooks the Australian Open Cup. Water babies and surfers throughout the country in 1951 took a tip from the frogmen of World War II and donned flippers to give an extra kick to their aquatic acrobatics. An exhilarating acceleration was achieved to catch those curling combers, provided, of course, you were prepared to go down the mine on the big ones. Brisbane was crowded by racegoers in July 1951 for the Doomben Carnival, the 10,000 sprint. Watch for this sensational fall. Down goes the favourite, Warra King, and jockey Maynard gets a worm's eye view of flying hooves, all of which missed him. A furlong to go, and Noel McGrowdy urges Coniston up on the outside past Deep Sea, on to victory, as Davy Jones stages a mighty burst to pip Fieldboy out of 3rd place. A win for Noel McGrowdy, who was later to die in a car accident in Malaya. A few months later, as usual, it was Top Hat Day at Flemington when 28 thoroughbreds faced the barrier for the Melbourne Cup. On the course proper, Sky Streamer on the rails, Bull John and Midway with the White Blaze are the leaders. Now it's the final stretch. Grey Boots goes to the front, but the New Zealander Akbar looks the winner until Neville Selwood urges Delta to a brilliant victory from Akbar and Double Blank. A great horse and a great jockey, Neville Selwood, who, like McGrowdy, was also to meet a tragic death. 65,000 rugby league fans were at fever pitch when Australia met France in the 3rd and deciding test at Sydney Cricket Ground. Puy Albert broke a 40-year-old test series kicking record with this penalty, and then landed 5 more. Clive Churchill led Australia's fight back, but the fiery Frenchmen, rated outsiders at the start of this, their first Australian tour, turned on an electrifying display, with a pause to replace a pair of pants. Switches of play, long passes. Orthodox moves went by the board. Australia was dazzled by the difference. The seal was set on a shock 35-14 victory when, in the final minute, a hefty right winger barged over the corner, leaving Australia flattened. The crowd was stunned. The impossible had happened. We had lost the Ashes. In another area, two bantamweights strove for 15 rounds to flatten one another. Jimmy Carruthers, Olympian of 1948 in London, with only 9 professional fights under his belt, was after Ellie Bennett's Australian title. Carruthers surprised with the speed of his southpaw flicking right and the power of his left hook. Building up an early points lead, he showed 12,000 fight fans that he was in world class. But this was his first 15-rounder, and in the final stages he was hard-pressed to hold off Bennett's desperate attack. 18 months later in Johannesburg, Carruthers knocked out Vic Tauil in the first round to become Australia's first world boxing champion, a title he successfully defended 3 times. The referee, Fred Hennebury, had no doubts about this winner. A record crowd jammed the White City courts in Sydney to watch America try to regain the Davis Cup, lost in New York the previous year. Gorgeous Gussie Moran and Dick Sabat were there to cheer on the visitors. Ken McGregor partnered Sedgman near camera against Ted Schroeder and Tony Trevitt in the all-important doubles. Smashes and Australia was home. Frank Sedgman, hero of his 3rd challenge round, and doubles partner Ken McGregor from Adelaide. For another year we had the cup. And thanks to Sir Norman Brooks, the stand as well. A bright note on which to end a year tinged with tragedy, studded with strikes, shadowed by war clouds. 1951. A year to remember.